Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. As we are nearing the very end of 2023, I thought it would be time to do an updated favorites and fails video. I did a favorites video a few months ago. I'll link that up in the cards if you're interested, but I haven't talked about like specifically fails in a long time. So I've got a couple of fails. You know, surprisingly, as far as makeup goes, I didn't really have that many makeup fails in 2023, but I definitely had a few. So I've got a few of those, and I have one non-makeup favorite I'm going to be sharing in this video as well. So I'm trying to get better at promoting the channel because we're so close to 7,000 subscribers. So please, if you have not already, hit that subscribe button and hit the bell so that you're notified whenever new videos come out every single week. Also, for those that don't know, I have a vlog channel where I just did the 12 days of Vlogmas. If you guys would like to check that out, I'll have that linked up in the cards and down below as well. Okay, so I think we're gonna start with the fails and then we'll go over into our favorites. All right, let's start with this weird clear brow gel thing. So this is from Wing Me. I don't know if that's the name of the brand or the name of the product, but this is the clear brow gel I got in a subscription box. I did Ipsy BoxyCharm for all of like 3 months just because I was curious once BoxyCharm went under Ipsy to see if it was any good, and spoiler alert, it was not great. And this was one of the products I got, and this is the weirdest product I've ever tried. It has no hold. This brow gel would stay like gooey all day. It was the weirdest thing I've ever felt. In addition to that, I don't like that the applicator is so bendy. You see how it's like bendy like that? And the spoolie is really small. I liked the spoolie, but not the very end of this weird long applicator. Like, this was so hard to put on. It stayed gooey and it didn't do anything for my brows. So this is one of the first fails of the year. All right, the next two products are both concealer fails for me. I really wanted to try out this Kosas concealer because so many people that I follow were raving about it and loving it, and I don't know why, or no matter what I did, maybe it's just like my skin chemistry reacting, this never looked quite right. It never really melded into my skin and always kind of sat on top no matter what skincare I used or no matter what primers I used. It always looked not cakey, but it always looked like there was a separation between my foundation and this concealer, or my skin and this concealer. It never really melded in like I really want out of a concealer. And I tried so hard because this has been raved about. Everyone loves the Kosas concealer. It just did not work for me. No matter what I did, could not get this to work. So while the Kosas one was just a concealer that didn't really work, technically it's not like a huge fail. This one I would consider a huge fail. This is the Saie Concealer. And first off, I gotta talk about this applicator. I took out the stopper because I used this for a long time to try to use it. But the applicator on this, it's like a arrow-shaped doe foot? Not even a doe foot, like an arrow-shaped thing. So it's a weird applicator for concealer to begin with. Second of all, because of the shape of this and because of how tight the stopper was, I barely got any concealer out. So I had to pull the stopper out in order to use it. And no matter how much I used of this concealer, it would break down. Like, there were days where it looked extra dry and it would like age me 10 years. And there were other days where it would like break down and like I would just not have anything under my eyes when the rest of my face is like totally glammed up. This was like a legitimate, like, get this 10 feet away from me, I never want to touch it again kind of product. All right, next, this was actually a product I decluttered in my big declutter video from the year. I'll throw it up in the cards if you missed it. I've been really bad about putting items up for sale in my Poshmark closet because this is one of the products I was going to clean up, sanitize, and throw up for sale. I actually still have them in this drawer over here. It's like all the stuff I want to put up for sale, including the Pat McGrath palette that I decluttered. But this year has been so crazy, I just have not been able to get it up there. So that's why I still have it, even though I did declutter it. And this is the Natasha Denona My Dream Cheek Trio. And I have to say, it still even has the thing on top of it. But these products, I had so much higher expectations for Natasha Denona cheek products just because I love her eyeshadow so much. And I've tried some other complexion products from her and I've liked them. And I had high expectations for blushes and highlighters. So this is my first introduction to her blush and highlight wise. And while I've tried other blushes that I like more in her other kind of face palettes, this one was like such a huge fail for me. I think the highlighter hit hard pan like almost immediately. The blush barely had any pigmentation, and then the highlighter, it wasn't really like a blinding highlight. It just kind of I don't know, looked shiny, but not in like a good way, like in a I'm sweaty kind of way. So this one was just such a big fail because I had such high expectations for the palette when I first saw it. All right, next. So this one's a fail. This is the Dior Airflash, and this is only a fail because I believe they discontinued this product and this shade is now too dark for me. So I only found out it was discontinued because I went and was like looking to buy a lighter shade. This is shade 1, I'm pretty sure. 1N. Yeah, this is shade 1N, and it oxidizes. So when this shade oxidizes, it looks way too dark on me, to the point where I can no longer use this on my full face unless I completely lighten it with like a lot of concealer, or if I only use it as like a bronzer and then I go into the concealer for the rest of my face, which is how I'm gonna have to finish this up ultimately. But I really like the formula. It looks great on my skin. I love the like unique experience of applying this, but they discontinued it. So I couldn't buy another shade, so I'm kind of just left with this. So to me, it's a fail because I think it's such a good product, and I don't know why they discontinued it. Maybe I'm hoping maybe they'd reformulate it and bring it back out, but then I don't know how good the new formula would be. I do think Sephora has something similar to this in the Sephora collection that I have not tried yet, so I might go and maybe shade match and see if I can pick up one of those because I love the idea of like an aerosolized foundation. I think it's so cool. Okay, last but not least, this is the only product that is going to be both a fail and a favorite, and that's the Katniss Vegan Dinner foundation. This is the Good Apple Serum foundation. I love this foundation to bits. The reason this is a fail is because I think it's a fail on their product and marketing team because the swatches online, the photos, totally photoshopped. They look nothing like the actual shades in person, and B, this product oxidizes. It oxidizes like half a shade to a shade darker within the first 10 minutes of wearing it. Those two things together made this so difficult to shade match. I ultimately went in store and swatched everything, and so my closest shade match is shade 10. Hello, so I'm currently... Rex says hello too. So I'm currently editing this video, and I went to go pull up pictures of the swatches from the Sephora website for this foundation, and I noticed something new. So they now have different swatches on the website, and they have the same swatch side by side, and what they're calling freshly swatched versus locked in color. So I am a bajillion% sure I am not the only person who has noticed the issues with the swatches and also with the oxidizing. So it's very difficult to find your shade. I do think these swatches are now a bit more accurate now that you've got the fresh swatched versus the locked in color, which is a very interesting way of saying that it oxidizes. So, okay, they got a little bit better. I will give them that. I did do a YouTube Shorts video where I swatch all of these side by side on my face and talk about them, so I'll throw it up in the cards if you're interested. But I should not have had to buy 4 of these in order to find one that matched me. That being said, I can mix this with foundation lightener drops and actually make most of them work for me. I think the only one I couldn't get to work for me was shade 8, but I just picked up some pigment drops from Shop Miss A to help me darken this one because this one is way too yellow and way too light. So this one I might have more trouble mixing, but the rest of these, with a little bit of work, I can get to work on my skin. And I do that because I hate personally, it's just personally, I know you're allowed to do this in the United States at least. I don't like exchanging makeup because I know it's going to get thrown out. If I can make something work for me, unless it's like a complete fail and it doesn't work on my skin at all, I'm not going to be returning makeup. So while this is one of my all-time favorite foundations and probably the best foundation of the year, I would go to say, I have to say it's a fail just because of the process it took me to find my shade. Okay, so before we get into the makeup favorites, let's talk about my one non-makeup favorite, and it's this fan right here. I love the experience of using a handheld fan for drying my setting spray, because when I do a full face of makeup like this, I use a lot of setting spray. I kind of douse my face in it, and then I use a fan to dry it all off. I've gone through quite a few fans, and I want to go ahead and put a disclaimer here. You don't need a fan. This is definitely something to do like as a treat, as like a luxurious kind of experience. You could definitely just use a hand fan or even just like your hands like this. I know it's a little bit extra, but that being said, this is the best fan I have found. I've gone through a couple of other fans in like the $15 to $20 price range, but ultimately, eventually, because I use them every day, they completely wear out and the battery kind of dies on me, even though they're rechargeable. Or, here's TMI, my hair somewhere in this house ends up gunking up the fan thing, and you can't take apart the fan because they're so cheap in order to actually clean it out. This kind of solves both of those problems. So I've had this for about 6 months now. I've used it every single day. The battery life on this lasts weeks. which blew my mind. It actually, like on one full charge, and I usually leave it to charge a couple hours to overnight, it lasts me weeks. And I do use this just for my makeup in the morning, sometimes twice a day when I'm doing a big filming day. This is a bit pricey up front, but the way that I saw it is I've already had to buy multiples of the cheaper fans. And with the fans I was buying, 3 repurchases of the cheapy fan equaled one of these. This is around $50 the last time that I checked on Amazon. $50, something that's already lasted me 6 months and is going to last me a lot longer, and something I use every day, I think is a great bargain. So this I use, I love it. I love that it looks kind of like the Dyson fan, and it's got an adjustable roller ball to adjust how you want your fan speed to be, and it goes all the way up to this. Yeah. This is top speed. And you can press this to turn it on and off. The dial controls your fan speed, and then you've got an on and off switch in the back, and then you've got your little charging port right here. And this has just been so great. It's as strong as I need it to be, because the biggest problem I found with handheld fans is that they're not strong enough to actually like dry setting spray or even cool you down. Like you could also use this if you're going to like a theme park, or you're gonna go outside in the summer and you want like a nice hand fan. This is really, really nice. So that's my one non-makeup favorite out of the way. If you're interested in purchasing this, I do have an Amazon storefront linked down below. I mainly put it together for stuff on the vlog channel because I was talking a lot about like renovation projects and redoing like decorating and stuff. But I do have a lot of like makeup, beauty, skincare, these kind of makeup tools linked there as well. If you're interested, the link is in the description box. I do earn a commission if you do go through that link to my Amazon storefront and purchase any products from that storefront. All right, makeup favorites. Let's go vaguely in the order that I apply this to my face. All right, first, the primer of the year. My number one favorite primer, the e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer. This is just so great. e.l.f. has been knocking it out of the park lately. And not only do they dupe the first Tatcha primer, the Silk Canvas, they duped the Liquid Silk Canvas, and this one they duped, I'm pretty sure it was faster than they duped the first one. But this is great. I'm wearing the primer today. It's smoothing. It feels great on my skin. It's $8. Actually, this one might be $10, but it's between $8 and $10. It's a bargain compared to the Tatcha one. It's just an overall great experience, and I actually like the packaging on this one better than I like the Tatcha packaging. Easily my favorite primer of the entire year. Next would be the foundation we've already talked about, the Kindness Vegan Dinner Good Apple Serum Foundation. Next we have a BB cream that's a little bit newer to me. I've only had this for like 5 months, but it's really good, and actually one of my closest actual shade matches that I've found. And this is the Purito Cica Clearing BB Cream. This is in shade 13, and I'm already almost gone, and I gotta buy a new one of these. This is a really light coverage BB cream, so it's not gonna cover up like birthmarks or acne marks, but it looks so much like skin, and it evens out my complexion, and I can go in with a concealer if I wanna like spot conceal and whatnot, but this looks amazing in person. Like, not only does this look good on camera, this looks incredible in person. And it's been honestly like my go-to for those early mornings when I just need to throw something on my face so I can start working for the day. This has been my go-to. I found this on Amazon, and I also have it linked to my Amazon storefront down below. All right, next I have a under eye brightening corrector from Becca. I love this. This is such a great like shade for me. This is in the shade Fair Light, and this is from the Becca and Smashbox collection, since Becca no longer exists, sadly. I have a bone to pick with the packaging because like the packaging is completely like rubbing off of the sides. It's very cheapy packaging, but the product itself is really, really nice. It's thin but smoothing, and the color is perfect for canceling out my dark under circles. I'm wearing it today underneath the concealer that I'm also about to go talk about, but this is just so nice. You only need a little bit. This lasts forever. I've used this literally I think all year, and I still have a ton left. All right, easily my number one concealer pick for the year, which shocked me because A, I did not expect a lot out of this brand, and B, I don't think I've ever liked a luxury concealer this much before, and it's from Armani. This is the Luminous Silk Concealer, and I have shade 3.75. This just knocked my socks off. It's beautiful, like medium, high medium coverage. The applicator is really nice. I love the packaging. I love that you only need a little bit. I've been using this damn near constantly for 6 months, and I still have a ton of product in here, which blew my mind. Like, I thought I would run out of this pretty quickly, but wow. I haven't even had to take the stopper out yet. This has literally not left my everyday makeup drawer since I've gotten it. And I've tried to bring in other concealers to use, but I can't. I keep going back to this one. So, wow. I'm very, very impressed. I would say pick this up during a sale or when you have a coupon. Sephora has been doing so many more sales lately, 20% off almost all the time. So pick this up on sale. All right, next we have my all-time favorite brow products for the year. I have the Kosas Air Brow in black, and I have the Got2b Brow Gel. Now, the Kosas Air Brow, this was the first brow gel to get me to fall in love with only using a gel on my brows. I used to be hardcore either pomade or powder, and that was it. I kind of had like chunky, blocky brows, but I liked the look. This was the first product to get me to like how my brows looked with just a gel in them. Because typically what I would do is I would go in front of just the gel and then I would outline the rest of my brow with pomade or with a powder. But this got me to like how my brows looked with just a gel. So I would go in with just this and then to actually set it, because this would, while it sets down, it doesn't have enough hold for my brows. Because if you don't know, I have really thick, really curly hair, and that goes for my eyebrows too. My eyebrows curl and they kind of go a little bit all over the place. So the only thing that holds them in place is this Got2b Brow Gel. And it's just Got2b's hair gel in a container with a spoolie. And that's it. And it's amazing. I love it. It's a little pricey at like $14 and you can only get it on Amazon. I also have it linked, but it's the best brow gel I have ever used. Let's talk about contour sticks. Now, I am so behind the trend on cream anything. I was so anti-cream products until this year. And that's because I honestly worked for so long just in like heavy manual labor kind of jobs. I had to like undo palettes and I had to walk to work and I had to like have makeup that would be budge proof. And to be frank, a lot of cream products are just not budge proof. So it's really only been lately where I've been 100% working completely from home. And I've had days where I only leave to walk recs. This is the environment now that I can actually wear a full face of cream products and not set any. So I've finally been experimenting. I've been trying a lot of products, mainly blush. But I have to say, this combination of contour sticks have really impressed me. The first is the NYX Wonder Stick in the shade Fair, right? This is the shade... yeah, in the shade Fair. I don't use the highlight sides of these because I like to go in with my other concealers and color correctors, but the contour side of this, it's almost halfway gone, is such a perfect shade for my complexion, and right now I'm closest to a MAC N4, and this is just so pretty. It's got the undertone, it looks nice, it just applies and blends out beautifully. And for bronzer, this is the Wet n Wild dual-ended contour stick. They call it a contour stick, but this thing is warm and very bronzery. So this is a great bronzer, not a great contour. So I apply this where I would bronzer, and then I apply the NYX stick right underneath, and I blend them together. And I get this wonderful, just like, definition to my face. Again, I feel like I've had these in my everyday makeup drawer for months now, and they're so quick. I just go bam, bam, and then I blend it out, and then I've got definition. And it looks nice on my complexion. It's not muddy, it's not too dark, it's not too deep. It's amazing, and they're so affordable. So, you know, I don't even really I do because I'm curious, but I feel like I don't even need to try anything higher end as far as contour sticks go, because I found like the perfect contour sticks at the drugstore. But because I'm nosy and because I like experimenting, I might try out some higher end, more expensive contour bronzer sticks. So if you have any recommendations, please let me know down below. Next, we're talking about blushes. I have one luxury and one drugstore. Again, we have e.l.f. e.l.f. I feel like they've been on fire this year with their products. And again, this is another dupe product for the Charlotte Tilbury wands, but their blushes, the Halo Glow Beauty Wand blushes, are beautiful. I am wearing the shade Candlelight. I'm wearing the shade Candlelight on my cheeks today. These shades are so pigmented. They're so shiny, like not shiny, that's not the right word, radiant. They're so radiant and beautiful, and they blend out and they look natural. They look so pretty on the skin. And I've tried these on different foundations. I've tried these on just my bare skin, and they always look gorgeous. Now, one thing I will say is that these products that come with like a little spongy on the end, I'm not a huge fan of using the sponge and then blending it out, though I know a lot of people do that. I like to kind of put this on the back of my hand and then go in with either a sponge or a brush. And I will say the formula on this, I can go in with either a sponge or a brush. I've tried other blushes, like liquid blushes, where they're so finicky and like they dry down too fast or they don't blend out nicely, and so that you have to like follow a certain set of rules in order to get it to blend out nicely. But these are so forgiving. They're so great for like beginners. Like these are the products I wish I had in like my beginner's makeup kit, which is a video I'm thinking of doing next year, early next year. Like the drugstore makeup starter kit I wish I had. And this is definitely what I wish I had back when I was first starting out with makeup. But even now, like as someone who has a drawer full of blush, I'm reaching for these over every other cream and liquid blush that I have. Now, I need them to come out with a shade that is bright orange. I need a bright orange shade, please. If you know anyone who works at e.l.f., tell them Monica please wants this and another black lipstick. I feel like I've talked about these way too much on my channel over the last year, but they're really good. And that's how you know, like, my favorites videos are not just, like, throwing things up for commission or just trying to get a video out every month, because part of it is repetitive because there are some products that are just that good. The Givenchy Prism Libre loose blushes. Almost called it the loose powder because I used a loose powder today, but these are the loose blushes. They're beautiful. I think I said this in my last favorites video, where rarely do I get a makeup product where the experience of opening it, putting it on, like blending it out, feels like luxury. This is one of those products. Everything about this feels to me like a luxury makeup product. I love the packaging, even though my grubby little fingerprints kind of make it look a little bit dirty. I actually love the scent. You know, I used to be so against scented, like, cheek products, makeup products, but I've really gotten more into scent lately. I like the scent. I love the packaging. I love the way this blends out with the brush when I put it on. I feel so fancy wearing this, and then it blends out and it makes me look airbrushed, like when I put this on. I want every shade that they have. I want all of them. So I have 2 of them. I'm going to wait until after my birthday, because I'm pretty sure I'm getting Sephora gift cards from people that I know. And I'm going to buy all the shades because I love these. And honestly, these will probably last you forever with the amount of product you have in here. All right, last but not least, we have some eyeshadows. I have 1 eyeshadow palette. Yeah, I know, only 1. And some liquid shadows. So these are oldies but goodies, and I'm wearing them on my eyes today. The Stila Glitter and Glows. I know, they've kind of fallen out of favor. I really don't hear people talking about them anymore, but I legitimately love these, especially on my hooded lids. There are very few products that can last all day and look beautiful on my hooded eyes. Like, if I just totally relax, that's how much my lid is covered, and that's how much my, like, lid is rubbing against my other, like, lid throughout a full day. So for a product to last, it has to, like, withstand the gauntlet of me doing this all day. And these do. These last all day. They're super easy to apply. They're beautiful. They're shiny. They're sparkly. I love them to bits. And I just recently purchased 2 more. One is a repurchase of the shade Diamond Dust. And then I picked up the shade Wanderlust, which is the one I'm wearing on my lid today. They're just great. They're a little pricey up front, but you can get them at Ulta. So I'd say use your points. You can use coupons, whatever. I feel like, again, we get 20% off coupons a lot more often, which is what I used to buy the 2 new ones that I just bought. I had a 20% off coupon. So I would say pick them up on sale, but to me, I honestly do think that they're worth the money. So I gotta tell you guys something. This year, usually, I don't get to spend a lot of time with other eyeshadow palettes outside of my Pan That palette, just because of the way I've been focusing on my Pan That palette, and over the years, I've been getting a bit more ambitious with my Pan That palettes. So easily, 95% of the time, I'm only using my Pan That palette. So it doesn't leave me a lot of room for using other eyeshadow palettes, especially this year, because I am working on the entire Jaclyn Hill and Morphe palette. I'm not going to show any spoilers, but because that palette is so big and there's so many shades, this year, out of all the years I've done Pan That palette, I have had to focus more on my Pan That palette and so much less on other eyeshadow palettes. So that being said, for a palette to become a favorite outside of me using that, it has to be, like, amazing. And to me, this is it, because this is what I really wanted from the brand, and they gave it to us, and it's like the perfect size, and to me, it's like the perfect everything. And that's the Natasha Denona Mini Xenon. I love this palette. I love the black shades. I love the shimmer silver in the middle. I just think this gives you everything you need for the perfect smoky eye. I wore this on our honeymoon several times when we went out to eat at some really nice restaurants. I love this thing. I also think it's the perfect like price point and the perfect size. It's right around $25. This comes with a good amount of product, so I feel like you're not going to run through it really quickly unless you're using it every single day. And I have to admit, I think after using the big Xenon palette for a while, I think I prefer the mini, which is kind of rare for me to say. Normally I do love her midi palettes, but this one comes with a true black shade. Her midi Xenon does not come with a true black shade. So I think that was a loss there in the midi. I think we needed a black shade there, but this one does have it. And I feel like this gives you your perfect little look all in one. And I love the size. I love the everything. Like this is to me is like one of my perfect palettes. And I wanted this for so long for Natasha, because for the longest time Natasha was only like some bright colors, a lot of browns, and we never really got anything truly black and smoky. And this was the first time we got it, and I jumped. And I do think it lives up to the hype. So there we have it. Those are all of my favorites and fails from 2023. Thank you guys so much for subscribing for this year. I believe the next video that you'll be seeing will be my Pen That Palette finale and the next Pen That Palette introduction. So if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe, and I can't wait to see you then. Bye.